right out of the gate, you kind of hit the ground running and you want to be the best performer. You want to overperform. You want to outperform. And I mean, you're just chasing, right? You're just trying to figure out life and figure out working. And I think balance is key, though, to being successful.
This is the Startup Junkies podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Startup Junkies podcast. Thank you for tuning in from wherever and however you're tuning in with us today. My name's Caleb. I am a member of the Startup Junkie team, joined by my co-host, Daniel. Daniel, how's it going?
It's going well. It's a beautiful, kind of chilly day here in Fayetteville.
I love it. I love it. Cold like my heart. We're joined by our friends from acres.com. We have Audrey and Maddison here to tell us the acres.com story and to share a little bit about their brand mission and what they're doing over there. Our neighbors, actually. So we're excited to have our neighbors here on the podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank
Happy
you.
To be here.
So we start off by our founder, Jeff, has coined this as like the Marvel origin story, essentially. But for those that are unfamiliar with acres.com, tell us what it is and just kind of a little bit about how it came to be.
Absolutely. So Acres started as a way to solve a problem that we were experiencing internally. So we were closing millions of dollars in land deals. We were spread across disjointed tools, making phone calls, spreadsheets, spread across a lot of different platforms, which is something that we realized a lot of our clients and customers that we work with now are experiencing as well. So we built the solution for ourselves and kind of found an opportunity and thought, hey, this might be something that other people will find useful. And it has spread and grown from there. So it's spread beyond the ag space at this point now. So home builders, retail, real estate firms, brokerages, and continues to grow.
Yeah, I would say, any kind of builder, anyone kind of looking land acquisition, lenders, brokers, that area. But, it's interesting because I think we understand the space so much just because we were on that side, right? And so understanding the customer is just kind of has been number one and forefront. And something that drew me to the company as well is because they are more of that, take a people-centric approach to what they do and what they build. So
when you talk about it, creating that solution, what exactly is that solution that y'all have created and are bringing to the customers?
I think it's just land transparency, right? It's just really bringing that transparency to this process that was very fragmented and disjointed across multiple teams and different platforms, and making it easier to access and just really actually actionable and useful for teams.
I'd say an important distinction here too is you don't have to be a GIS expert to be able to use Acres. So it's everything from mapping to thousands, if not millions, of data points on land. So someone can open up the program and find everything out about a piece of land that they want to know. So everything from elevation to floods, utility lines that are running through there, zoning information. So that's the way I kind of describe it is, what do you want to know about a piece of property or land? That's where you can turn to Acres and not have to be the expert, geoscience person behind it to be able to use our platform.
Now, Maddison said that the people-centric focus is kind of what drew you to the company. Audrey, what drew you to Acres?
Very similarly, I would say very similarly. My background is a little all over the place, and I found myself being very drawn after trying several different things to customer success and being very people focused. I was actually an engineer for a little bit and realized that I did not want to be kind of sequestered, just me and my computer. I really missed when I was working with customers, whether that was in a project management capacity or a sales capacity. I really missed those interactions. Customer success is that intersection of being able to still scratch that technical itch and solve really hard problems and get the people interaction and really see, the satisfaction at the end of the day of their problems being solved and actually having made a difference.
Who's the ideal customer, ideal user of the platform?
I mean, it just depends. I think, any part of the land buying process, we definitely help differently throughout each of each of the different stages. But I would say, back to when I mentioned, anybody who's looking for the land acquisition, if not, brokers and lenders and
land management, even agricultural space, managing land.
Yes, absolutely. So, really understanding what those pain points are, and not just understanding, listening, but then actually implementing things that will help them, whether if it's something that we don't already have, whether that's a data set that they need, or, a process improvement. The CS team, which is what Audrey runs, they have done a great job at just making sure that we listen, right? And just understanding that and then using that data to feed it back into marketing and sales and, product development, things like that.
So land acquisition, I imagine it's a really big market, which means you guys probably have some competitors in the space. What separates Acres?
Oh, that's a great question. I'd say first is our people-first approach. And like Maddison was saying, our ability to listen to the clients that we work with. I have heard that from the people that we're working with is they've really experienced a difference when they work with not just our customer success team, but even from, if they start in the sales cycle with our team and they're actually exploring bringing Acres on as a part of their team. It's every step along the way. We want to make an impression and leave an impact with every single interaction, and they're never going to lose that at any phase. So I'd say the people-first approach is a big differentiator for us in listening to that. We take our feedback cycle very, very seriously. So what we're hearing from our customers, that actually goes straight back to our product team for consideration to be implemented. And I say those are my favorite emails to write is when I get to email a client and say, hey, we built this for you. Isn't this cool? And so the people first approach, and then in a very practical approach, the usability and ease of use of our platform. Again, you don't have to be a GIS expert to use it. You don't have to be an engineer to use it. You can just crack it open. You can download the mobile app today and start using it.
Sounds like you guys are very hands-on with your customers.
Very much so.
I would add to that and also say, there's that side of it, but then there's also this, more technical side of, the number of data sources that we're able to pull from, the number of unique layers you can layer into your maps to actually get the visual that you're wanting, as well as, a number of other things that I think our competitors, truly focus in on, maybe a single point solution more so is what I would consider them as a single point, and they would be able to do a little bit of what we can do, but we've really figured out kind of how to, pull it all in together and utilize, more accurate real-time data. Having accurate data is incredibly important, especially when you're making land decisions and going against their competitors. So making sure we have the most accurate data and up-to-date data along with all these different data sources, I think empowers anyone buying land or purchasing land or looking to do anything with land, right? So I think that sets us apart as well.
So you've got a solution for the customer, but it's not entirely like where we have seen from our purchase Startup Junkie, where some entrepreneurs struggle is they've got a solution in search of a problem or a product or project that they've created that they're kind of trying to find the applicability and really are lean enough to kind of adapt that solution to meet the need of the customer as that target sometimes moves.
Absolutely. I think though that also, being agile like that makes you successful as a company. And back to what drew me there is just, them listening and understanding that you kind of have to change. You have to understand and adapt, especially as a startup, right? I think the environment changes. There's things you can't control that change, and just being able to adapt and grow with that and with your customers is big. So
I think it ties back to just the principle. It's, one of our pillars on the customer success team of partnering with our customers and our clients. Yeah. And as much as we partner with each other internally, we do that even more so, I think, with our customers. And a philosophy that I've always had and kind of brought in when I came on board is just this phrase of be an extension of our clients' teams. So we are the Acres extension of their team. We are bringing that expertise and helping them to be able to develop that. So it's a true partnership. It's, yes, they're getting this incredible platform with millions of data points, helping them do their jobs better. But we really want to partner with them to even find more of those opportunities of what else do you need? What have we not thought of, or what are we working on that is going to help you be even better at your job.
I'd be curious to hear kind of, what it was about the solution internally that there was that realization that, you potentially had something there. Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, what was that solution internally?
Yeah, so that is actually, it still is a core part of our platform today, and that's our sold land database. And one of the key problems that was being solved with the development of Acres was creating the largest database for valuing land. And that was the biggest problem to solve. There's a lot of disjointed data points. Let me actually even look, 150 million parcels of land in the U.S. So that is,
Wow.
A data point for every single parcel. So being able to value land accurately, especially in non-disclosure states. So being able to bring together all of that data into a comprehensive data set. So at the time, and I'd like to say we still do, have the largest comprehensive data set of sold land to be able to value land. So that was that, kind of key, we have it moment in Acres of this could really be something for other people.
And I think when we saw how much it, really started to, reduce the amount of time it took to actually acquire land in that entire process, and seeing that, value driver, I think is what kind of really probably started, the kick-started what you could say, just building on what other values can we add in here, and then what else can, how are other ways we can provide value, I would say. And then who else could this help, right? So...
And those are the questions we're still asking today. That's, when I'm...
You never stop.
Yeah, when I'm sitting down with our clients, it's, okay, we have all of this. Here's the value you're seeing. How is this helping you today? What are you missing? What are these other key points, or what's going to help give you an edge in any step of that process? If it's land acquisition, if it's valuation, if it's management, just kind of any side of it. And there's things that I'm learning every single day, and companies are evolving in how they do things. So as much as we can iterate on our tools that we're providing to them, we're going to give them that robust solution.
You can imagine there was probably a moment where someone said, this is really solving our problems and checking our boxes and making things more efficient. I bet somebody else can use this too. Resulted in that rolling out. And candidly, I remember having played around with a very early version of Acres several years ago, sitting over
That's awesome.
the cocktail bar underneath. I'm blanking on the vault.
Oh, vault?
Sitting on the vault with a former Acres employee and playing around with that on his phone and thinking, oh, wow, this is cool. Like, people could use this. And my mind went immediately, being an East Arkansas native, my mind went immediately to hunters and people that duck hunt and need land. So that's right there. Who owns this land adjacent to our property and stuff like that.
You said East Arkansas. I knew you were going to go to duck hunting.
Can't help it. So there's such an applicability there and then obviously, it has so many legs.
We actually released a whole bunch of recreation layers in Acres. I think 100 or over 100 rec layers. Wow. So there's a whole lot more to play around with in that space. And even from when I started, I've been at Acres a little over a year and a half now, and it wasn't the early version that you would have seen, but the version from when I started to now is just like, wow, we really do move quickly. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Are you an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur looking to get plugged into the ecosystem? We host a ton of events designed for education, inspiration, and collaboration, from weekly meetups to quarterly events like pitch competitions and annual events like our marquee event, the Startup Crawl, which is the largest startup party in Arkansas. Check out our event page on our website, sign up, and we'll see you there.
I was reading a little bit about the recreation layers on your website. I was also seeing some stuff about you guys are using AI integration somewhat recently, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about those innovations?
Oh, yeah. This has been exciting.
Yeah, no, we are actually about to do a webinar. Is it tomorrow? I want to say yes, tomorrow. Just kind of really highlighting, what that means, especially in Acres, and what you're going to be able to, accomplish with this for current customers and prospects and anyone who really wants to join. But I think, really using that tool to, move faster and better understand, kind of have better decision making is what that's going to be able to empower our users with. So.
Yeah, because I think a point we've hit on a couple of times is just the volume of data.
Right.
And that's where Acres started, is the volume of transaction data, sold land data, and even general insights into land, elevation, soils, but that's still just more data, more data, more data. So then the question becomes, how do we make this easier for someone to use where you still have that speed? You still have the speed of decision making. And that's where we can really leverage AI to come in and pull all of this data together pretty seamlessly. And where when you open up Acres and you have a question, the answers are there for you. You don't really have to even ask the questions. So your decision making is reduced even further. You can open up a property, get all of the information delivered to you, and then take it a step further with whatever type of workflow you're looking to do. If it's prospecting, if it's building your pipeline and portfolio management, hopefully get in there and be able to close some deals. So being able to deliver that information in a much more integrated fashion.
I would add to that, one thing that I'm excited about too is I think AI is such a hot topic, right? It's such a buzzword. Everyone's using it. But one thing that the team has really done well on, I think, is just making sure that it's not just, oh, hey, you have AI now. It's definitely, it's partnered with, it's partnered with our team to help you kind of figure out how to use it. And it's not just, you're here now, that's taking over for anybody, any customer success or any kind of, interactions that you're having. I think we're still your partners there to help you understand how to use it better every day. Because I think we're all learning in that space together. So
yeah, it's a buzzword. That's why I had to ask. It was big on the website too.
Yeah, there's a difference in the how it's implemented versus how it's kind of sometimes in name only, and for some companies, and we go to conferences, technology conferences, and every booth says powered by AI. And
everyone now, yes,
it's a board game. What are you talking about? So I'm curious about the customer acquisition process. Like, how do you convey all of those values to potential new customers and potential partners that may not be entirely familiar with the platform, but given the broad applicability, does that conversation change based on potential customer?
Absolutely. I think it really kind of narrows down to who are we speaking to, right? And the personas, because, backing out of our customers and kind of the people-centric approach that we have, it can really kind of start to bucket into certain segments, and understanding that each of those segments, kind of have generally the same problems that we can speak to, right? And understanding that, the type of individuals or titles that fall into there. And then it kind of helps us understand whenever we're trying to articulate the value of what we bring. Instead of saying we do everything for everyone, really hone in and focus on that individual, like, specifically home builders, land acquisition, right? And just making sure that when we, our marketing team communicates with ads or anything like that, that communication's consistent from marketing all the way through sales. And then even when it comes to expansion and upsells, I think it's just really understanding the value that we provide for each of those personas. So,
And what's the business model kind of at its core? Is it entirely subscription-based for individual users, or what does that look like?
Well, I know when I started, it definitely was a lot of B2B and B2C, right? And we've got, two different approaches, just to, depending on back to the personas of who's wanting to use Acres for what. Yeah. So I know future growing, when you think about growth and, forward thinking, enterprise is definitely somewhere we're trying to understand more and really expand into. But I think that B2C space is something that we've excelled in. So...
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you've been with the team since September, correct?
That's correct.
And you've been here a little over a year.
Since last June.
What's one thing each of you guys have learned since joining the team? And then what's one thing each of you are excited for in the next 12 months?
Ooh.
Deep question here.
Deep question. The challenge is the one thing that I've learned.
Right. You've learned so much.
I've learned I could fill a book, I feel, at this point.
I would say challenge. You said one challenge, right?
One challenge, one learning lesson, anything.
One learning lesson or something would be, I didn't realize teams could work so well together. And I don't know if that's a challenge or if that's a learning lesson or what, but I mean, it's probably the first place I've worked that truly cross departments. It's a group effort, right? It's understanding that it takes all of us, intermingling to figure out how we move forward and grow as a team. It's not just kind of individually siloed. So I think other companies, definitely, each area has their own focus, but truly understanding that it's one, we're one company, we're one organism, right? And we should be working together. I think Acres has done a great job there, and I was very surprised, and it's been very nice. So
I think one challenge, and yes, I love everything that you said, Maddison.
It wasn't a challenge, hopefully.
No, I think that's just one thing that's blown me away since joining the team is the collaboration, and it allows us to work really, really quickly. That can sometimes be a challenge in of itself, is navigating the pace at times. But I think one kind of lesson or takeaway that I have is never assume. And that comes internally with the team. Never assume that the other person understands. Never assume that someone understood what you were conveying exactly. Like, it's okay to ask follow-up questions, especially on the customer and client side. Never assume that they understand your product backwards and forwards. Never assume that they are getting the value out of it that you believe that they are. It's a continuous, it's a cycle, right? And the relationship with our clients exists in a cycle. We're always partnering with them. We're always working to improve that. So never assume anyone's happy. Never assume anyone's unhappy. Just constantly be asking questions and learning, and move forward with that partnership mentality rather than an assumptive mentality.
I like that.
Okay, I have a better challenge. That was buffer time for you. So. I would say focus, right? Like whenever you can help so many people and it's exciting, and I think the team and, generally everyone kind of is like, yes, we can do this, 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 and this. And I've seen companies do it across the board. It's just, really being able to focus in and tackle it, head on and kind of, make sure you're doing it right. And then moving forward with a plan and strategy is something that, I think I've seen happen at every company, but also here I've seen so much growth in that focus area this past quarter. It's been amazing. So, yeah, I would say that. But
because that is one of the exciting things is when you get all of the minds that work at Acres together, there's always something exciting to focus on, or there's like a new idea. Oh, have we thought about this? And so that's always kind of fun to chase, like what's the new shiny object? But the focus is really important for us to be able to grow. And I think that's what I'm the most excited about, is I've seen so much growth in the last year and a half. It's been, sometimes I'll go back and look at old pictures or videos of Acres from even when I started, or the version you might have looked at. And it's, just kind of like to see the differences there. But for what's ahead next year and the approach that we're taking with our customers, how do we expand on that? How do we push ourselves even further? How do we become even better partners with our customers and grow the folks that we're working with now? How does that play out on the sales side? So the growth is what I'm most excited about.
You stole my answer.
You can have the same one.
Same answer.
Same. The growth. It's very exciting. I think watching the teams just continually work together and, expand and focus and really understand, once again, being that people-centric base of just why are we doing this? How are we helping? And making sure that that's kind of that North Star has been great. So.
Well, we're excited to see the continued growth, aren't we?
Yeah, I was going to invite y'all to look into the crystal ball and look ahead, but y'all kind of answered those questions already.
Well, now you need to see a latest version of the application.
So I've got the app.
Okay,
Perfect.
He's one of your customers. Well, if any of our listeners want to learn more about you guys or more about Acres, where can they go?
They can go to acres.com and plenty of ways to reach out to us there. I don't know, Maddison?
We have a request a demo form. We have a phone line or phone number you can call, as well as LinkedIn.
You'll get a real person if you call the phone number.
You will get a real person.
Okay, it's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I took our phone number off our website.
We actually have the phone lines in the office where people answer.
impressive.
It's great.
Yes.
Well, whenever someone has to answer and like the whole floor can hear them answer, it's actually kind of funny, especially right when we got them.
Everybody has a different like phone voice too. It's like, hello.
Yes.
Never heard them that
It's a
energetic.
regular voice, yeah. So you can tell somebody's on the phone. So as part of our kind of land the plane process, so I alluded to looking into the crystal ball to look ahead, but now I'll ask you both to look back. I know you're relatively new with the company, but if you wanted to look back even further to when you began your career, or any kind of really touchstone moment with your younger self, if you had the ability to give your younger self advice based on all of your accumulated knowledge, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, that is such a good question.
So we ask it to everybody.
I love it.
I think mine would be balance, making sure that I've balance, because I think, right out of the gate, you kind of hit the ground running and you want to be the best performer. You want to overperform, you want to outperform. And I mean, you're just chasing, right? You're just trying to figure out life and figure out working. And I think balance is key, though, to being successful, is just truly making sure, sometimes you solve problems whenever you're not sitting there staring at the computer for the next 12 hours. It's go take a break, go take a walk, go, change up your routine a little bit. So that's what I would probably say.
I will always say balance for myself, even today. I would tell my younger self to not take myself so seriously. I've always taken my work very seriously, and I will continue to do so. But I had a very brief stint as an entrepreneur when I was a lot younger, and it just was kind of all-consuming. I wish I would have had a little bit more fun in my early 20s and slowed down and realized, like, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
If things work out, great. If they don't, also great. At least you tried.
Right.
And I feel that now. But yeah, I wish younger me would have just like let go a little bit more, had a little more fun.
Yeah. Well, that's really good advice, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
so
was fun.
much.
Well, we'll remind our viewers to check out acres.com and to follow the Startup Junkies podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share with a friend. Subscribe and review because it matters to us and we want to hear from you. If you're interested in learning how to work with us, check out the information below. See you next week.